Okay, hello everybody. Today we're going to work on making some garbage. And specifically, we're going to make garbage bags, the kind of bags of trash you would see on the side of the curb or in a dumpster or whatever. And it's a pretty simple process. I'm going to go through how I do it at least. So the primary things that you need are, number one is a black plastic bag. Now any bag will probably work, but I like to use these. I occasionally get them from different stores that are kind of a real thin plastic. You can use the black plastic you might have from a trash bag, from a large 30-gallon trash bag, but you really have to kind of stretch it a little bit thinner if you can, just because that plastic tends to be a little bit too thick to really work real well. But these kind that you get, kind of like from your regular grocery stores or whatever, occasionally some of them will have this kind of darker color bag. But that is really thin, it works really well. So something like that. Again, you can try to stretch a heavier bag a little bit thinner. Also, just some facial tissue. This will be the inside of our trash bag. It's very easy to shape to whatever size you want. We're going to use some stranded wire, not the solid kind, but these little thin strands of wire will be helpful for essentially tying off our trash bags. A pair of clippers, I'm using a razor blade to help trim the plastic as well. A little bit of black touch-up paint to paint these wires once we've used them to tie the trash bags off. And then also some super glue and a little applicator for the paint. And that's pretty much all you need. So it's a pretty simple process. I'm going to go through how I make these trash bags. Okay, so to start off, I'm going to go ahead and just kind of get things ready. I'm going to take some of this stranded wire and just strip off some sections of insulation. And anytime you do this, it's much easier to use a much longer strand of wire than a shorter one. It just makes it much easier to work with. So I'm just going to go ahead and cut off some strands and put those aside. Now these are just some rail nippers that I use cutting some metal, and so these are really beat up, but because they are beat up, they actually work really well for cutting insulation off wires, pretty much just like a regular pair of wire strippers would. So I do like to kind of save those ones that I do ruin for this kind of process. So we'll start with that. That's enough. I probably won't do too many today. Put that aside. Okay, so now I'm going to start off with a piece of plastic. Again, with all these things, it's much easier to go bigger initially. So I'm just going to cut off some sections here. Okay, so I have a couple random little squares here. Again, these are, far bigger than HO or N scale, but again, it's much easier to work with a big piece first and then trim it smaller at the end. So I'm going to just take a little bit of facial tissue, kind of roll it up into a little ball, place that in the middle of the piece of plastic, and then give it a little twirl. So essentially I have here a little black nub there. Take a strand of the wire, put it just above where the actual facial tissue is, and we'll just twist that around until we can get it nice and tight. Okay, so now we have our bag, which is... So anyway, so you have something like this. You really want that a little bit tighter than that. It's not quite tight enough. And so at this point, I can take my razor here and just cut off the wire. Off the plastic, kind of neaten that up a little bit. and you're left with a little bag there. Now before I do any kind of painting, and I'll kind of put these aside and do them all at one time later, what you want to do though is add a little bit of super glue to the top here, just to kind of keep all that from pulling apart at some point, especially if you do tear the plastic a little bit. So just kind of put a little bit of super glue on there, and that will keep everything from coming undone. So I'll just put that aside for now, do another trash bag, and kind of just keep moving along on this process. Again, it's a very simple process, and you don't have to use facial tissue. Basically, it's just anything that, in fact, you can even just kind of wad up the plastic itself, but you just need something in there to give it a little bit of form. Okay, so there's a nice little small bag. Take some wire, wrap it around. Okay, that looks good. I'll just chop off that wire. And again, if you want, you can leave a little bit of a piece hanging out to sort of be that, you know, that little cinch tie thing that a lot of bags will have on them. And again, here's another, and try to get a little bit more round, or bags are always a little bit different shape, but there's another little bag of trash. Okay, so I've been working on this for about 20 minutes, and I've made 10 trash bags. I do still need to finish them up, but kind of get an idea of what those are looking like. And they range in sizes. Some are a little larger than others. These will probably primarily be used, you know, on HO scale layouts, but some of the smaller ones I might use for N scale as well. But I kind of just make them in whatever size they come out as, and I kind of separate them later, and I can use them for whatever project I have. Get a little piece of cardboard here for some paint. And again, you can color these little wires different colors, make them white or yellow or red or whatever you want to kind of represent those pull strings that you have on trash bags a lot of times. I'm going to, however, just go ahead and touch these up with some black paint, just because it's, you know, you're gonna have a real hard time trying to get that to look neat if you try to do different colors on there. So basically, want to cover up the wires the best I can. In general, the rule that I tend to follow with railroading or model making in general is that it's better to not see details than to have the details look bad. And so instead of trying to actually replicate little tiny pull strings on these bags, I prefer to just cover them up so you can't see them. Okay, and so now we are done with the 10 trash bags that I finished creating here out of the plastic bag, tissue paper, and a little bit of thin wire. And for a nice size comparison, I have placed them next to an HO scale dumpster. And you can see it really works pretty well. The sizes are about right for HO scale. Some of the smaller ones might be fine for N scale. But again, even just piling a few of these trash bags around the actual dumpster really kind of, you know, adds to that, you know, to that scene a little bit. And so again, it's a pretty easy thing to do. It doesn't take very long. You can make about, you know, one bag every 2 minutes. So a half hour, you can, you know, easily do a dozen of these trash bags. Anyway, just wanted to show you how I make these little details And I'll have some more videos coming up as well on other things such as cardboard boxes and other types of details. And we'll kind of go ahead and go through how I make those types of little things that kind of really add a lot to a scene. So anyway, that's all for now, and thanks for watching. Bye.